Welcome back to the second episode of the CGC Podcast. I'm your host, Constructor Gang Critiques, and once again, I have my guest, Kal-El313. It's been a busy week in gaming and in tech, and of course, we are going to double back around to the subject we hit you guys with first last week with the big Xbox business plan, but we got a couple other subjects we want to go over first. Kal-El, you want to hit him with the news ticker real quick?
Yeah, I say, get your nose hair. All right, folks. So, lots of stuff to go over. Let's get it started. Okay. Big in the news. Game industry biz. Brendan Sinclair reports that Epic Game Store sees almost $1 billion in PC game sales in their 2023 fiscal year. So they're legit. They're legit. For a while, people have been, I don't want a different browser. I don't want a different launcher. But Epic, specifically because of their ability to make great promotions. If you did not jump into last Christmas's deals, they marked most games down about 30%. Then they knocked them down another 33%. With your coupon, and then they give you 10% back as game cash. So it was like kind of a Kohl's thing, right? Like Kohl's Bucks, where you're just thinking they're fronting money for BMF or something. They seem not to care. So what do you think about that? Are you, I know you're really open to multiple different,
storefronts and things of that nature.
Yeah, you tried Luna, right?
I still have Luna. I canceled my subscription to it, but I do have the free one. I bought the controller for the thing.
Yes.
As my phone decides to make noise in the background. Let me cut that down. But for me, here's the thing, right? Like a lot of hardcore gamers, as they love to call themselves, make fun of Fortnite, but Fortnite is funding that beast.
Yeah.
The skins, the free, well, that's a part of it, right? Mm-hmm. You end up going to the Epic Game Store because unfortunately they push the exclusive game stuff, and they get those exclusive games a lot of times because the store has a special profit sharing with people who use the Unreal Engine and sell their games exclusively on the Epic Game Store.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's also funded by the skins in Fortnite, which is just year by year becoming a bigger and bigger game. It's basically a juggernaut almost at this point. I think that, there's people who hate it and they swear by, Steam and Steam alone. I love Steam. Steam's great. I mean, Steam still has features that Fortnite, or rather Epic Game Store, doesn't have, even though Epic Game Store you could just relegate it down to Fortnite. I don't want to do that though. But they just, Steam has better features like the modding support alone, the controller stuff. It is better, but it's also older, which leans into the idea of it being better. So, I don't have a problem with it, man. I love it. Valve needed competition, and they're getting it now. I'm pretty sure they're not quaking in their boots over there, especially with the popularity of the Steam Deck, and the few times they do decide to make a game, it usually pops off. I haven't seen a Valve game get a bad rating yet, at least not to my recollection. So, it's good, man. It's always good when you have choices.
Yeah, competition is good, and competition breeds more competition.
Exactly.
Breeds better deals.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got to be thankful that Fanatical and CD Keys are out there. All right. And some more really good news. Same place, Game Industry Biz, Sophie McVoy shows that Alan Wake 2 sells 1.3 million units. The brief is that it sold 50% more copies in 2 months than Control did, which I was a Control super fan.
Yeah, you really pushed that game.
Yeah. So really not a comment, just to me that's good. There's even 1.3 million people that are willing to be terrified in the dark. I'm with it.
So
What do you?
I think it's great that Alan Wake uh got the exposure that it's gotten. You got to remember, this is a game that launched exclusively on the Xbox 360, and there was always talk that it didn't sell that well, which is why it didn't get a full sequel. It got I think it was called American Nightmare, which was
Yes,
like a
yes,
smaller standalone expansion for it, but
yes.
it never really got a full sequel. And then I guess Microsoft either was nice enough, but these corporations we talking about, so they didn't care enough about the IP. They sold it back to Remedy, and Remedy, they folded it into the Control narrative with the Alan Wake DLC,
Yeah.
and they brought it back, and it's it well deserved. Those guys are really good storytellers. I think my favorite games for them were the Max Paynes. It's a shame they're not going to get those back, but I'm sure Rockstar's going to do something interesting with it. But it's good to see that Remedy's games are not only getting high, acclaim as far as rewards and Game of the Year trophies and stuff like that, but they're selling well too. People are actually messing with them and buying them. So I think that's good, especially for a horror game, because horror games don't usually do that well unless it's called Resident Evil. I don't think so.
Now, wasn't the Max Payne getting a remake? Was that being handled by Remedy, or was that going to be handled by someone else?
So Rockstar, I believe, still owns the
Mm-hmm.
Max Payne IP, and they will be the ones remaking 1 and 2. I believe they're making 1 and 2, and they'll probably be making them on the Grand Theft Auto engine. I would guess. Maybe they're working with Remedy, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that.
Okay. Okay. Always interesting. Always interesting when something gets remade and the actual developer isn't involved.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's going to be bad. I mean, I look forward to that new Witcher, and that wasn't the same development team. So let's see here. Before we get into some of the big business stuff, which I'm really interested to get your thoughts on, let's see what else is here. All right, great job, Namco. Well, you know what? Let's move into the multi-platform conversation. So, and we're going to start actually with Sony.
Okay.
So same site again. We're going to just keep quoting the site. Sophie again, their staff writer, and we need to talk about staff writers as well. So we'll bounce to that next.
Right.
But they have COO Hiroki Totoki, telling PlayStation investors that multi-platform will help its operating income improve, which was down 15%. A potential, the quote is, a potential driver for growth is the first-party title generation, because in the past we wanted to popularize consoles. The purpose of the first-party title was to make the hardware or console popular, but there is a synergy to it. If we have a strong first-party content, not only with our console, but also other platforms like computers,
Mm-hmm.
we can help operating profit to improve. So that matches the same language that Sarah, Booty, and Spencer relayed.
Context of that, those are the Xbox guys. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. I get my ignorance.
Hey, Matt knew what his name was his
Yeah,
whole
exactly.
life.
Right.
Yeah. But that's some of the same language that I feel like they brought in the Xbox. What was that? Fire drill, right?
Yeah. Fire drill.
That's what it felt like. It felt like,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of people
Twitter,
were
Twitter's
sitting
on
on their
fire.
fingers.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Twitter's on fire. Let's make sure this doesn't get to our stocks.
Right.
So, what's your take on that? What's your take on both of them having the same language, and specifically the things that Spencer said about down the line, console exclusivity will just be not a thing.
So
And
I guess
Sarah's,
we. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, and Sarah's, comments about every screen is an Xbox, which she sort of altered, but still sort of stuck to her guns on, right?
Yeah, that's the statement that happened in the allegedly happened in the private meeting. But yeah,
Yeah,
she pretty much alluded to that. So yeah, I guess we might as well blend both of those stories, right?
yeah,
Because you had one side of the fence thinking that Xbox is just going to throw all their games on our platform, and then in the middle of the week you find out that Sony's not doing the numbers that they were expecting to do, and all of this talk of the PlayStation is at the, I guess, it past the middle point of its life cycle, because it pretty much has been 5 years if you think about it. There's both of these machines came out in November 2020,
hmm
uh, and how Sony is possibly going to do multi-platform, at least with PC, and that means to me more games going day and date with the game on the screen right now. Hell Divers doing as well as it did as in day and date launch with
oh yeah,
PlayStation 5 and PC. So here's the thing. Number one, just to put it bluntly, neither one of these companies are Nintendo. Neither one of these companies makes games that people buy their machines for specifically to play. 9 times out of 10, well, let's not do 9 times out of 10. Let's say seven times out of 10, maybe 6 times out of 10 to be really fair. If somebody's buying an Xbox or PlayStation, they're buying it to play a game that Sony and Microsoft don't make. They're buying it for Call of Duty. They're buying it for NBA 2K. They're buying it for Madden. They're buying it for FIFA or Football Club, as it's called now. They're buying it for Fortnite. Games you don't have to spend money on, but you can put a lot of money in. Games that are free to access. Games that are, your friends are on, that have crossplay, things of that nature. Sony has been a third party, really, for one of their bigger franchises for years now. They sell that baseball game every year on Xbox. As a matter of fact, it launches in Game Pass, and you have to pay $70 for it on PlayStation. Now, I know the MLB has something to do with that, but if Sony was really so against it, they would have said, okay, find somebody else to make your baseball game. They want the money. They want the money. And Helldivers 2 has shown them that, yeah, there is money in making sure that a larger audience can play your games day and date. Microsoft, in a similar step, is making kind of the same approach, right? So Microsoft's getting those guys ready to accept the fact that eventually a good portion, if not all of the Xbox games, are probably going to be multi-platform. They did it with now here's the thing. We said last week, I believe it was you, it might have been me, but we were talking about how they kind of threw that stuff out there as a filler, right? Just to
yeah.
see how people would react. And I'm pretty sure a lot of stuff is purposely leaked just to get people's overreactions, because the talking heads kind of rule how the mob behaves, if you will. I guess that's the right way of saying that. And you saw a lot of people overreacting with this news and selling their Xbox and all this other nonsense. And it's probably put out as a feeler. Let's see how they react. If it's too bad, then we'll step back on our plans. Look, this is probably going to be full-fledged. I believe I've been seeing, obviously because of Council Warriors, I've been seeing an article where Phil Spencer said PC won't get all Xbox games, and now it essentially does. So I think what they did was they had a plan. They want to see how people were going to react to that plan. People reacted the way, they probably a good portion of them expected them to. So they said, okay, let's pull it back and let's do the 4 games that were really heavily mentioned the most when this rumor started popping up. And, they still didn't name the 4 games, but I think everybody's assumption is that it's Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, and some people are saying Grounded, even though I think personally it might be Killer Instinct, because why wouldn't you put a fighting game on PlayStation? That's kind of like where they live.
Yeah. Plus Keats' group, Iron Galaxy, those guys just came back and redid a lot. UI changes, balance changes, texture changes. I mean, they did a lot.
So I definitely could, Grounded, I heard that a lot of Sony execs were really interested in that game being on PlayStation before Obsidian was purchased by Microsoft, because I guess it's been in circulation that long. But I can definitely see Killer Instinct being announced for PlayStation at Evo, and that would be a huge deal, because that game needs a bigger audience. Is as rabid as the fan base is for that game, having a whole nother ecosystem or two new ecosystems in Nintendo where the series started, and PlayStation being able to play the newest version would be pretty awesome for that game. You probably get new characters. You definitely get a longer line of support. Sea of Thieves makes sense because, you know, that game's kind of peaked as far as what it's going to do on Xbox. So adding, you know, 100-something million possible Switch players, another 50 or so million. And if they put it on PS4, you're talking about another 100-something million PS4 players would definitely, you know, all of those people aren't going to buy it. You know, a lot of people might get it and think it's boring because it's not everybody's cup of tea. I think me and you both tried it and kind of fell out of it, but those games make sense, right? Even Grounded, you know, it's a live service game, makes sense. Pentiment makes sense as like an arty game. I think that one would really do something special on Switch. And Hi-Fi Rush is a very, well, it's not a very, it is a definitive Xbox Japanese game. Probably the most Japanese games they've had since the 360 days with Blue Dragon and what was the other one with Kaim was the lead character, the Final Fantasy team.
Oh, Lost Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey, yeah. Those like Hi-Fi Rush is the most Japanese thing Microsoft's produced since that. So, and it you know, so it makes sense that, you know, the two machines that are popular in Japan, because Xbox is not and never has been and likely never will be for many reasons that we can go into at another, you know, channel or show. But, you know, putting those games on the popular Japanese machines just makes sense. And over time, you know, he said, well, you know, Phil was adamant, oh, Starfield's not coming to there. Indiana Jones is not coming to there. Hellblade's not, he didn't say Hellblade, but Hellblade's not coming to there more than likely. But that stuff will probably be on there when they feel they've made enough money on Xbox and Xbox services like Game Pass.
Oh, yeah, he never said never. And Microsoft has a proven track record of kind of like conditioning their audience.
They conditioned them for PC releases. So
they conditioned them for the games with gold being removed. They get everyone indie games and older games, right? These games aren't bad, but because the interweb said, hey, you know, these games are bad compared to what Sony was getting, over a long enough period of time, they were able to just remove the feature. And there were no pitchforks. There were no torches.
And the games,
I was mad. I was
the games they were giving people in gold weren't really bad. They just weren't some AAA bangers, quote unquote, right?
They were the indies. They were the equivalent of the great games you get like in Humble Bundle and in your Prime membership. But because Sony's giving out like
Resident Evil, and, you know, stuff, it just looked it looked like, you know, Microsoft was trying, but, you know, at the same time they had Game Pass. Give us a little bit more money and you can just play these 200 games that, you know, some of them are that, and some of them are still the stuff we give in gold, and you know, so they did a very good job of easing people into that. You know, I think they learned from that whole 2013 experiment of, you know, telling people that they won't be buying games physically anymore, even though they don't. But, you know, maybe they tried to tell them like, you know, you'll have to borrow games that way, and everybody got it to a tiff about it, and they now do that anyway. So, you know, what was really the problem? But yeah, man, look, Sony. Getting back to them, I know we kind of went on a riff there, but Sony wants to make money, and they're not going to make money keeping certain games, if not most of their games or all of their games, just on their platform. You don't have to launch on Xbox, but you better put it on PC.
Yeah. Put it where you can.
Put it where you can. Whatever you like a live service game. I think Phil Spencer was noted as saying that, you know, he wouldn't mind seeing Helldivers 2 on Xbox.
That is right up the Xbox game players. Yeah. If you like Gears, you'll like this.
Exactly. That's exactly. It's like this game really does scratch the Gears of War itch. Mm-hmm. And they're like literally a multiplayer mode from basically being that. Sony could probably make a ton of money off Xbox players putting it on there. Yeah. And it's probably one of those games they should consider putting in that spot.
Yep. Now to the Gears guys though, they did announce that there will be no PvP for this game. So You won't be able to scratch that itch.
Right.
But the camaraderie, the getting the missions done, very like a super intense version of World War Z kind of thing.
World War
Um,
Z, a little bit of Starship Troopers, a little
yeah,
bit
a
of
lot of
Gears.
Starship. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, man.
All right. Good talk.
I I think that again, Nintendo is about the only company that doesn't have to bite on this, and who knows, maybe even they will one day. I doubt it will be as soon as Xbox and eventually Sony will, but
They
all
may
these
not
companies
have a
want to make
choice.
money.
They
All these
may not
companies
have
want
a
to make money.
choice.
Yeah,
I mean, if you can play Fortnite through the browser, I don't know why you couldn't do Game Pass through the browser.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that might just be a thing.
Yeah.
All right, enough of the console wars. Uh, Now this looks pretty normalized to me as far as what won, but I'm going to read off a couple of the winners from the Design, Innovate, Communicate, and Entertain Awards earlier today. Dice Awards, if you folks didn't know, happened. And these are, you know, usually similar to the Game Awards, but they're all the developers, the industry. I bet a lot of the same people vote in both categories because you're going to see some of the same kind of things, but also they give much better awards on the technical level. So here's a couple for you. Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3. What do you think?
Yeah, given.
All right.
That was a given. Like maybe if you're into uh a more artistic game or a game that approaches art, for art's sake, Hi-Fi Rush could have been in there, but I don't think it had a chance. Really, nothing really had a chance against Baldur's Gate. When Zelda got crushed by it, that was pretty much it because Zelda's
Yeah.
usually a shoe in for everybody, right? So that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I'm still riding with 50 points to Gryffindor. Harry Potter's best game
Yeah,
that year.
and you know
All
what?
that.
I feel ashamed that I forgot that game. I have it, but I have
Everyone
not
did.
played it yet. But
Everyone did.
I'm not a Harry Potter guy, but I even bought it because I've heard it was so good. But there's reasons for that one,
Yeah.
Mary, that we don't really need to go over. I mean, you
Yeah.
let your mind run away with that one. But there's myriad reasons I think that game has kind of been snubbed. But
Oh yeah. Snub. Clearly snub. Look, if you played that game or just listened to the game, you understand that there's things that should have happened for just the audio side in its awards that didn't happen for a game that sold 27 million copies. That's the weirdest. Like, this is, Star Wars games and Harry Potter games will generally go above and beyond for score.
there was a Jedi. The
Yeah,
Jedi game did come out.
with an
That one's kind of
amazing
got
score.
pushed back. Yeah, that game's kind of got
Yeah,
pushed back into the background too. That was
yeah, it was a rough year.
weird year as far as. But
Rough year.
Baldur's Gate is an amazing game. To be fair,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It
it's an
is. It
amazing game.
is the industry darling. It is Celeste.
It
An
literally,
amazing game. An amazing game.
yeah, it resurrected a genre
Yeah,
to
it
my
did
to
what
my
it did what Divinity 2 did exactly, but it had
with a well known IP.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
All right. How about this one? Uh, what's your take on this one? Let me see. I moved. It was the animation. Outstanding achievement in animation. Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I can buy that. Look, Insomniac's very good. They've always done a great job of that's one of so the great a measure of a game's art and animation and how you meld that into gameplay for me is you when you can play the game without you know doing what the point of the game is. Like I remember in Grand Theft Auto 3, we would just put in the code. Me and my buddies would put in the code for the weapons and just shoot people and cause as much havoc as we can. Spider-Man's one of those games where you literally can play the game for like 30 minutes and just swing around the city.
Yeah.
Because of how well Miles and Peter are animated, I can totally get behind that. Plus, there's he's a fast character. There's a lot of really cool sequences that happen fast. It's a very good cinematic superhero game. They've always done a good job with those, and that's probably why they're going to make more Marvel games for Sony. They're really good. They've always been good. I've been messing with Insomniac since Disruptor on PlayStation 1. I mean, you guys know about that one. Old first-person shooter they made. But, yeah, Insomniac's always been good. They're aces. And, you know, I can't – that's probably another one where something like Hi-Fi Rush could have won. But, you know, they're going up against something that's just – it outclassed them.
Oh yeah. I would definitely, Spider-Man's ability to traverse his universe is key to that game.
Absolutely.
So I would definitely, and animation is a big part of that believability and the physics and everything. So I definitely would give the nod to Spidey from what I've played. But as just one thing for folks remind folks is that 2K23 WWE. It's some really good animation, really good for wrestling games, especially.
So, to be fair, I know people don't like the 2Ks. They kind of gets the same hate that Fortnite gets sometimes because it's a sports game, one. So the sports bros, and that's usually the term. And then it's not only a sports game, but it's microtransaction stuff like that. But that game has some really like NBA 2K, WWE 2K. They have great animations, dude.
Great mocap. Sports games, whether people what they feel about them or not, sports games or fighting games usually take the lead when it comes to animation and mocap tech.
For believability purposes, they have to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and it's interesting that they're not considered in that conversation a lot when it comes to great animation. When it's like
they kind of get ignored for everything. They kind of throw them all in the sports category and ignore them. But it's like you could put a 2K
NBA games. Yeah,
you can put an NBA 2K soundtrack up against a lot of these games.
Oh, everything.
And if you actually understand music, especially if you're a connoisseur of hip hop, they kill these RPGs and stuff. But that's different crowd maybe, and so maybe they look at it different. But like soundtracks on sports games, animation. The fact that a lot of these teams have a quarter of the development time that these big RPGs and adventure games have, and they still pull that stuff off is, those guys are rock stars. Even though sometimes most times nowadays those games come with kind of scummy practices as far as the microtransactions and stuff like that. So yeah, but consider it. But we know it's not going to get that rub. So.
Here's a couple of more I would ask you about. Online Game of the Year, Diablo 4.
As much as people hate that, it's always funny, right? People dog the Activision games, and it's kind of like the sports games, right?
Yeah.
They make so much money every year, and they have so much engagement year in and year out, and it's just the popularity of those franchises. You can't really bury them. You can't bury Call of Duty.
They're not Dark Souls games, though.
No, they're not.
So that's, it disqualifies them from being good,
don't do that. Let's not do that. And we like the Souls games. We like the Souls. Well, I like the Souls games, but that's a whole nother.
I just get lost. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
I need a little fairy to show me where to go.
There was a lot of nonsense that popped out of that Elden Ring thing with the UI stuff. Remember that? We're gonna talk about that one day. Yeah, that was crazy.
I side with Ubi. I love Ubi. I love looking at Far Cry maps and Halo Infinite maps and knowing where to go.
And you just lost a bunch of fans by saying you like Ubisoft games because there's people who just don't like those either, and I don't get it. This is like you don't have to buy them all. I mean, but I can't sit here and say that they're bad games just because you can play them for like 50 to 100 hours. Like that's $70 well spent. Last I checked, if you want to spend it. But whatever. What else won awards? Because we might get hot water about that subject.
Immersive reality game of the year. What do you think won that one?
Gran Turismo VR.
No, close though. That's probably, I can't say close, but that's a good one. It even though it's because it came out at the end of the year, Asgard Wrath 2. They took it.
Really?
Yes.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's like the only 10 out of 10 for VR since Alex. I think even Alex was like a 9 out of 10.
Alex was a 10 out of 10 generally across the board. I'm so mad at myself because I still haven't got that daggone game on yet. I haven't had time though. I got vacation time now, so I think maybe I will cut that one on sometime this weekend. But yeah, from everything I've heard, it's open world God of War style combat in VR, and I'm very eager to see how they pulled it off. Meta's got themselves a nice amount of developers over there, and they're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that game came with my Quest 3, and everybody I've seen who's videos on that's played it, they do nothing but gush over it. Um, I can totally believe that with it getting 10 out of 10s that they may have nailed that high action game combat in first person in VR of all places. One game I have been playing on my MetaQuest as an aside is I think it's called Dungeons of Eternity.
Okay.
And it's not a very good looking game. Sorry to the devs if you hear this. Not a very good looking game for obvious reasons, but it is super fun. Just run into a dungeon, kill all the mobs, loot it, walk out with the loot, see what you rolled. It's because it's random loot. The MetaQuest has potential, guys. Like I can't believe I'm saying this. Like as much as I love the PSVR 2, I think the MetaQuest 3 and 2 are better devices just for the portability alone.
Oh yeah, yeah. No PC.
Yeah.
Better,
You don't need a
better
PC.
off.
You don't need
Yeah.
a PlayStation. You can just
No
start playing.
wires.
Yeah, no wires. It's really good. And if they can keep pushing out games like Asgard, sky's the limit for them.
All right. A little bit of breaking news for you. Marcus Stewart over at Game Informer has a report that Respawn is developing a first-person Mandalorian game due to a leak. So if you like the leaks, you
A little
guys can
better.
see some of that beautiful beam footage. Just Google it. But go ahead and check out that article if you're listening. February 16th, 12:52 p.m. It drops. So
That that is okay. So originally, I had heard that the Mandalorian game was being made by uh, the Coalition, the Gears of War team over at Microsoft, and I guess the assumption was because Microsoft had secured Indiana Jones that they'd gotten some more LucasArts stuff. But if it's not the Coalition, and honestly, I'd rather have the Coalition working on their Gears collection that I've heard about and the new Gears, because I think that will be more beneficial for me as a Gears fan. But I mean, if they're not making the Mandalorian game, I can't think anybody better than Respawn to be doing it. I mean, because I I don't like the chances of Titanfall coming back, so this is the next best thing. And they
yeah,
haven't filled their spot. They haven't like what's the gentleman's name that used to work at Infinity Ward and he started Respawn? What's his name?
oh, I can't remember.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I'll probably remember later on in the show. But he has not failed with a Spider-Man or a Spider-Man Star Wars game yet. Everything he's touched, I mean, he's doing such a good job. They gave him Battlefield, so the
Yeah.
guy knows what the heck he's doing.
All right. Good stuff. I'm so interested in seeing a post, seeing what they pulled off with the two latest Respawn based Star Wars games, seeing how this is approached to Mandalorian, a series that's still in production, that has a movie coming out. Like, we haven't really had that. Like, the Avengers were staggered against the movie stuff. It was never a tie-in. So I wonder, are this going to be a tie-in? This going to be an Elseworld? Do you know anything about that, or
It'll more than likely be a tie-in. I haven't.
interesting?
So everything they've made so far at Respawn and really in EA in general has either been
It's all
a
canon,
part of
right?
it's all a canon or part of the lore or something that was happening while this was happening over here. So they haven't really, you know, they haven't really swayed away from or hidden from the fact that they are, a part of the continuum. So I don't expect that to change with this.
All right, all right. let's see here. Just a bit of more news I'd like to go over. IGN.
Mm-hmm.
Now, looks like they are unionizing. Let's see if we can find any great articles on this. I know I did see a really swell interview on IGN unionizing over at What's Good Games. So give them a shout out. I don't know if we'll put the link or anything in there, but those ladies did a wonderful interview with some IGN staff. Audio quality was, it's what it is, but
Right, right.
they had the questions and they really talked about it. My main thing to you is, do you think this is, because these guys have been writing forever.
Right.
One, do you think this will affect other companies like Kind of Funny, that kind of thing, or even bigger organizations that do reporting? And then two, do you think this was maybe a response to AI?
Everybody's responding to AI, right?
Yeah, market
Everybody's
disruptor. Yeah,
if you are a person who has a job that for all intents and purposes a robot could replace you, and that's pretty much every job. Like there are fully automated supermarkets coming. Nobody's safe.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I'm not one of those fear mongers for AI.
No,
As a matter of fact, I'm more into embracing it and using it to make your job easier.
oh yeah,
But corporations, the truth of the matter is, they don't want to pay people if they don't have to. So, and not all of them, but I would say a good number of them would rather say, "Oh, we need 500 people to make this. How about 100 and some robots?" So,
yeah.
and it obviously wouldn't be that simple, but it would cost less. Uh, I think a lot the smart thing for anybody to do is to, if you have a union or you can create a union, yeah, why not do that so that you can protect your job and your job security. I don't know how you could get an AI to give a genuine sounding review of a game, but I guess it's possible. I mean, Tupac's got like 2 new albums.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Ace,
So I mean, what is it? It doesn't even matter at that point. So he's not been with us for decades, and he's got 2 new albums because of AI. So I mean,
Angry Centaur Gaming. If you get a chance, last year he had Chat GPT 3 write his Spider-Man remastered review in his kind of dialogue, his kind of language, his kind of quips, you know,
mm,
and he read it, and and he's one of my favorite guys. It was so spot on.
yeah,
at
that's
the
that's
end,
scary.
at the end of the video, he's kind of flipping about it. He's like, "Ah, man, not even no, not flipping." He's kind of like, he can't believe the BS. He can't believe how good it is at the end of
I would
it.
imagine that would not feel, it would be amazing and horrifying all at once, because it's like, oh wow, you
Yeah,
know, they don't
yeah,
need me to do this.
yeah. And he's someone
Uh,
that he pins. He's a writer. So when
right,
he writes his reviews, he
absolutely.
follows the brief. But there's so much,
He's an art. He's an artist,
jokes
right?
within jokes. Yeah, double innuendos, triple innuendos. Yeah, and to have the computer be able to do it the same way.
Yeah.
Just when you guys get a chance, his Spider-Man remastered review is just
I
amazing.
would imagine any artist, be it words to paper or paint to canvas, would be afraid of what corporations might potentially do with
Yeah.
this new tool that seems to be growing at an exponential rate. it's
Oh yeah.
it's not like it's growing slowly, it's growing
Oh yeah.
rather
No,
quickly.
there was
um
something in the mainstream news, not really game related, that came out about a deep fake AI generated video that just had a lot of concerns. So I didn't get to read it yet. So
Man,
I'll
I've
get
seen
around to it.
stuff. I've seen stuff that, uh, like when the AI pictures first started popping up, you knew, okay, that's clearly like
Yeah.
an artist rendition of something. But I've seen stuff that has fooled me for at least 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, like Power
So
World, right? You thought Power World was actually good for a minute.
no, 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 not that.
I'm just
That's
kidding.
funny.
If you like Power World, you like what you like, people.
Right, but I'm talking about like pictures that I thought were real people,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and they were not, and I had to double take and triple take, and it's like, oh, that's AI generated. That so it's it's getting scary for creatives out there.
Yeah, or
Um,
better, it's allowing
or
the
better if
ones
you
who
use
aren't
it the right way.
corporate to just you know speed up their workload.
But honestly, I mean, to me, it's an opportunity to separate yourself from the machine, man. Go into
Oh
business
yeah,
for yourself.
you know what? I'm gonna do a couple of game reviews, and I'm gonna build my own and build the AI and kind of see who's better. And you'll
Mm,
never know if you're getting me or the
right,
AI, folks.
right.
But I'm lazy, so probably be the AI. All right. Let's talk about a couple of quick deals before we go to our next topic. Right now, over at Dell, if you're hankering for a 4090 RTX 7950X AMD Ryzen 9 Beast, you can get it 28.99 out the door. 2 terabytes, really great deal. Or you spend half the amount and walk away with a 47 Ti, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte drive for you PC gamers out there. There are some Amazon uh, shipped and sold 4080 Super still available. There's a slight price up markup since I last reviewed it, but when it dropped, they were at MSRP. So just 1,000. But wait, don't pay more. Don't let a scalper scalp. Over at Humble Bundle, couple of three really great ones I want to talk about. First is the Destiny the Story So Far bundle.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I was thinking
Yeah,
about getting it myself, and I don't
pay
even
what
play
you
that
want.
game anymore. But man, that's
Pay
really
what you want.
nasty. Yeah.
Pay what you want. I think for $40 you get everything up to year two.
Yep.
Um, then the big boy, this crazy Fighters and Arcade Classic pack from Capcom. $20 gets you 70 items. So
Are you serious? I
oh
didn't see
yes,
that one.
it's kind of ridiculous. And then they
Oh,
have a
that's
Mega
crazy.
Man one, which I had to jump on 8 Mega Man games for $20, and you can do more for your local favorite charity, whatever you sign in.
Always good
20,
to give and get at the same time
oh yeah, oh
in
yeah,
every situation. Take that how you will. Anyway,
yeah. Uh, and then Steam is seeming to have some sort of quarterly sale again. What is this one called? Let's see here. Let me.
you talking about the Ubisoft one when you pick your own character and it takes you to the Ubisoft storefront? Because that one's going on right
Yeah,
now
hold
too.
on
It's
for
pretty good.
1 second.
Yep.
Give me 1 second, guys. I just lost audio. Uh, just switching to.
Oh wow, guys. While he's fixing that, yeah, this
Speakers. All right.
Capcom deal is pretty nasty. Jeez, you get the entire arcade from back in the day in this pack.
All right, folks. I apologize if there's any feedback, but my headset just went out. Can you hear me
I
well?
think you're good. You're good, man.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, yeah, pretty great deal. Pretty
That's
great
pretty.
deal.
That's pretty nice for $20.
Yeah, yeah.
That's filthy.
And once again, some of that's going to charity. About for $25, you'll probably give about like $1.50 to charity.
I think you can adjust those too, right?
Yeah, yeah, and you can give more as well.
Yep.
So really good stuff.
You got 11 days, 20 hours, and about 35 minutes left on that one.
All right, and that's pretty much all the news I had. Let
What
me
was
see if
the
there's
Steam one
anything.
you wanted to mention?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The Steam sale. How could I forget? So they've got something else going on. Their weekend sale. They've got the Ubi sale. Um, but some of these deals are just once again fantastic. I picked up Wanted, the Ninja Gaiden esque shooter
Bunch of
for
ex Ninja
15
Gaiden
bucks.
guys. Hot for $15. That's
15 bucks.
That's a solid price for that game. I think I paid about 15 for it myself when I got it. It's been on sale a couple of times. Decent game, not the best, but for $15,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right up my alley.
right, exactly.
um, I believe Stray is at its lowest price on Steam so far, 1979. So
Hmm.
normally it's like 1999.
A whopping 20-cent discount.
Hey, hey, that game's value. It's got a cat. Any
Yeah,
game with a cat, you know.
and I
They,
think a per button too. So hey, there you
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. You gotta pay. You gotta pay to play.
Yeah, I hear that.
And it looks like all the Call of Duty and Far Cry franchises, because the Far Cry is Obi, but
Right.
all the Call of Duties are also on sale right now.
Oh, they're syncing up already. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah. And then the biggest deal you can get if you don't have it in your collection, just go ahead and buy Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition, $13.49.
Yeah.
Uh,
Don't be a perpetrator. Get the game
get the
that
game.
really
Yeah,
defines what Baldur's Gate 3 is. Get Divinity. Is that 2 or the original?
that's 2 Definitive Edition. You're
Yeah,
getting
that's the
400
one, man.
hours, 400 hours of gameplay for $13.
Man, you get that. If you like Baldur's Gate 3, get that. That's the game. Like, you'll see, they made this game already. They just put a proper
Yeah,
IP on it. It like,
yeah.
and it's no knock on them, right? I'm not
No,
hating. I'm just saying Larian's been nice. They've been nice.
yeah. To quote Billy Zane's character in Demonite, if it makes you feel good, do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. We touched on IGN's unionization. Let me see. Did we miss anything else?
I got one thing that we might want to talk about. It's more so a rumor. It's not concrete news because
Okay.
nothing concrete was out about it. But apparently, the Nintendo Switch 2, its debut has been moved from later on this year to first quarter 2025. Now, this is, mind you, just a rumor, but um, I I think that Nintendo, they're either trying to make sure that they have a large supply chain, or they want to make sure that these last few Switch games that they're going to bring out actually have room to sell. Plus, I think the Switch 1 came out in March, right? Like a couple of weeks after Horizon, the original Horizon Zero Dawn came out. So it launching in March or April next year makes sense. It'd be about what, 7 years, 8 years to the month or so. So that follows up. Again, it's just a rumor, but a lot of people are leaking that third parties have been told, or developers and publishers have been told, yeah, that they're pushing it back to first quarter of 2025.
That is so. I wonder, does that coincide? Over at CNBC, journalist Arjun Karpal has an article about Nintendo hiking its sales forecast of the current Switch console
Mm-hmm.
to 15.5 million units.
Which means they want to sell more. They want to bleed
Some more
that.
of the originals.
They want to
Yeah.
bleed it dry. Yeah, that makes sense.
Have we
There's no
even
rush anyway.
seen? Have we ever seen a true Switch price cut yet?
No, why? Why would you have to?
Yeah. So they still have that.
They're still
That
selling copies of
yeah.
Mario Kart and Breath of the Wild, man. Like
I,
they're the only company that isn't saying, yeah, we probably gonna have to put our stuff somewhere else. They don't have to do anything right now. We're not even Nintendo fanboys like that. It's just the truth, guys. Their stuff. I mean, they're the only real video game company in the business. Like, that's what they were from the beginning. Well, they were a car company, and I think they own Love Hotels. I don't even get into what that is, but they're the original, and they have a fan base that's rabid when it comes to their particular games, and obviously it's working for them.
oh yeah, yeah. Their stocks up. Their shares are up 14% this year.
Yeah. So they're gonna keep selling those Switches, and I believe they got a Princess Peach game coming out where she gets in different costumes. That game actually looks pretty fun. They got a Luigi's Mansion 2 remake, Paper Mario remake, and hell, I don't know, probably probably a Octopath Traveler 3 announcement or something like that, even though that probably will launch with the Switch too. But pretty sure that game actually, didn't that developer get bought recently? I don't know about that one. At any rate, yeah, they just want to make more money off the Switch.
Yeah. Now, historically, has Nintendo ever been one of the systems to slash the console price?
They've done it in the past. Super Nintendo, obviously.
It got a price. Okay.
NES, the handhelds, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, man, this thing's a juggernaut. And from what I'm understanding, a motivation behind delaying the Switch 2 is to see if they can catch up with the DS and the PS2
Yeah.
in sales. I mean, it's definitely possible.
Now, thinking back for the non-portable consoles, the Xbox and the PlayStation, didn't they both have price cuts last generation? Or no?
Yes,
I know
at
they
the
had the Pro
remodels.
models.
At the remodels of the original versions, they definitely had price cuts. Yeah.
So they cut prices on the non-Pro model.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think even the Pro models, I know the Pro models, I don't think got cut because they didn't sell very well on either side. But yeah, they definitely cut prices on the original.
Do you think we'll see a price cut in the current gen anytime soon?
There's no reason to. They have 2 SKUs each. If you want a cheaper Xbox, get a Series S. I mean, they've cut that thing down to $230.
Yeah.
And I think at one point the Series X did go on sale for like $450, but no more than $50. And the PS5, just get the discless version.
Yeah. So they'll probably just continue to run sales and discounts with never a true. That makes sense because you have the two different. Each one does have a version that doesn't have a disk drive.
And speaking of actually both of those companies, one more bit of news. It seems that during that state of emergency, whatever you want to call it for Xbox, they were talking about how they were going to have a new console that was going to have technological leaps. The rumor that has persisted with both Sony and Microsoft, and amongst all of the other third-party nonsense, is that they were both looking into handhelds, Vita 2 and whatever the Xbox's handheld will be called, Xbox squared to the 10th power. I'd love to do their things with numbers. To whatever extent that might be a thing, I think that the handheld PC bug has caught all of these companies, and I think there's a rumor that they were looking into Intel and not AMD for their processor. It's all rumors, but I mean, I think anything's possible in this timeline. So
so if you think about it, Asus, Lenovo, MSI isn't out yet, but they're not selling those handheld PCs at a loss, which means that they're getting a deal good enough for the APU and GPU and everything. Outside of the other components that they add, they're getting a deal for those that is good enough to make a profit at the $700 range. And Nintendo and Sony would have way more buying power than Asus or Lenovo. I'm sorry, Sony and Microsoft would have more buying power.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if they're going to order a lot like that, it's going to be, how many units they want to sell, and these guys have a much loftier kind of goal. They want to sell 30 million units. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the thing, the only thing about it that I will be cautious of is that it never really bodes well for Microsoft and Sony when they copy Nintendo. I guess they wouldn't just be copying Nintendo at this point, but we, we all know how goofy people look wielding those PlayStation, let's just say Tonfas, and we don't need to really need to get into how people felt about the Kinect. So,
Yeah.
once again, Nintendo's kind of put this form factor out there, and the PC guys jumped on it first, but now, Sony and Microsoft are possibly jumping into it. And if they're doing it, they better do it right, because, it's going to be really easy to read them for filth if they don't. So,
Oh yeah, and they know the market. They know the market exists. I mean, they can see the.
but once all the PC guys started selling it was,
Oh yeah,
okay. So people do want this. So.
but even the stuff that their consoles are driving, like the portable monitor market. They
Yeah.
even made monitors that slapped on the back of your Series S
Yeah,
and made
which
it a
was crazy.
portable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that's what
like,
people want. Yeah, this is
yeah,
definitely something
it's
people want.
crazy.
There's definitely an interest there,
Yeah.
because I
There's
would
like,
have never thought of something like that. Like,
oh
who's just carrying a Series S around just to hook it up anywhere? But apparently,
yeah.
there's a group of people who wanted that. They made a whole product for it. So I think the
Oh
thing started
yeah.
on Kickstarter and then ended up being a real product. So yeah, it's
Yep. And I
definitely
mean
money there.
they're coming out with 120 hertz OLED, you know, portable monitors all the time. You can just type in portable monitors in Amazon, portable gaming monitor in Amazon, and you'll see there's just tons of these products out here. And they're not necessarily designed just for the console. I mean, with a lot of these monitors, you could just they'll have a VESA mount in the back, and so do the micro PCs. So you can just VESA mount your micro PC to the back of the monitor. If you really just want to have a couple of setups that were the exact same for a tournament or a LAN party, that's super easy now. Um, but yeah, I feel like they know people want a game on the go. Hence the PS Portable, right?
Yep.
They know.
So I think we're getting close to the end of our time. You got any closing thoughts about what happened this past week?
Uh, like Dice, love the fact that they put so much. Love the fact that Spider Man took a lot of audio stuff, even though guys slept on Harry Potter. And it was in contrast to what the Game Awards did for Star Wars, which was interesting. So I do love seeing the different, kind of points of view on that. The deals this week really stupid. Check everywhere, game deals on Reddit. We're not sponsored by anything, so don't
Just
click any
trying to help
links
you
if you
out.
don't trust them. Yeah, don't click any links if you don't trust it.
Right. And
um, but no, that's about it. That is about it. Lots of great news. I want to come back next week and touch on what the COO of Embracer said, but I need to review that information.
right.
It's really just him saying, hey, layoffs happen, deal with it. But I want to, read it and get more of a idea of how he said it and that kind of thing.
Right.
And then really go back and just kind of see what other people are saying about IGN's unionization. Is this something that could happen for a lot, most review sites, most media sites, most feature sites, is this something that they're going to have to understand that they have to do as well?
My and yeah, we definitely will touch on that next week, unless something even crazier happens. But I think things are calming down for now. My final thoughts are just this, guys. Video games are supposed to be fun. Have fun with this stuff. It shouldn't dictate, your life. It shouldn't bring you down. It should make you happy. It should distract you from how tough things are. Don't let other people tell you what you can and can't play and what you can and can't enjoy. And most importantly, man, if any of this stuff matters to you, like really matters to you, then just worry about having fun. Don't worry about where it is, how you play it, anything like that. Just worry about having fun. And
Yeah.
on a broader scale, man, stop listening to internet rumors and stuff. Some of you guys need to get off the internet, period. But that's a whole nother subject, right? Because if it's gonna drive you crazy like that, it's not worth. It's not. You saw a lot of people overreacting to things they shouldn't have, and yeah, man, we got to do better. A lot of us looked real wild last week because we weren't being logical. This is supposed to be fun. This is video games. It's supposed to be something we enjoy. Not supposed to be something that we fight each other over or anything like that. Things change. Companies who are involved in this come and go. Strategies change. And really, as a consumer, your only real concern is what purpose does it serve you, not what purpose can you serve it. When you start to serve your products, you've kind of lost the plot, right? So.
All right. Well, before we head out, folks, it is Black History Month, so it's going to point you to a really, really great article by Brianna Scott over at NPR in their culture section. The number of, this is from last year, all right, 2023, March 20, but please, when you get a chance to review this, the number of Black video game developers, small but strong, is the title. 8-minute listen, really solid work. I believe they also had another one from 21 about the developers of the first home video game system with interchangeable cartridges, which was Jerry Lawson. They have a whole bio of him. So yeah, check out that bio. It's getting kind of late. Sorry about that. And definitely check out this. It's an older article, but really poignant, especially for the young African American developers in the audience.
All right, guys. Well, definitely check that out. Again, we will more than likely be back with you next week, talking about more of the rumblings and goings-ons of the industry. No, no crazy talk. Just straight to the point. Business aspects of it, understanding why these things are happening, and not coping with it, but just knowing that this isn't about how you feel. This is about works for these corporations. This isn't about personal vendettas toward any kind of group. It's just about people playing more games and them making more money. And the only thing you need to concern yourself with is, can you have any of the fun that's involved in that? Nothing else.
Yep.
Till next time, though, folks. Happy gaming. Happy Black History Month. And we will see you in the next episode.
Adios.
Adios.